Hi guys, I just want to show you what we'll be doing this week. We're working with TCi Science. I've had it up on our Google Classroom for a bit so that you could get in and explore and play around with some of the curriculum. This week we're going to actually do some and complete a couple of lessons in the weather unit. So you will simply click on the link in Google Classroom that says TCi Science, and you'll pull up a screen that looks similar to this. Teacher's email. Of course, I'm Mrs. Muntz doing this, so the teacher email will be my name. The username and password is the exact same that you use for logging into your Chromebooks. And then sign in. And here you go. Here are all of the programs that we're going to explore at some point. What we're working on is the weather and climate unit. So you don't even need to do anything on this main page. What you'll be focusing on is all over here on the left-hand side. Okay. Assignments is what you will go to. That's where we will post what you're working on each day. And here it is. It is Unit 3, Lesson 1, and you have the text sections, the notebook sections, and the investigative notebook. So you can click this arrow if you choose. You can also operate everything from over here on the left-hand side. That's your main screen. So if you start with the investigative notebook, this is what's going to come up. You are Lesson 1, What Makes Weather. You are to do each of these parts. Observing phenomena. I'm sorry, it keeps focusing. So you'll watch some videos and you'll answer some questions. Think about what you already know about the different types of weather and write answers to your questions. Over here, there's always a speaker. It will read all questions to you if you're unsure. You click in here and you'll start your typing to provide your responses. So that's the end of that portion of the lesson. Next, you will click on Observing Weather. Again, there are some videos on here. So here's the first video. And if you come down to the screen, you'll see there's one of 4. So at the bottom of the screen, after you watch this video, you'll click on the next, and the next, and the next. And what's beautiful is that you can continue to go back and look at them to help you figure out your weather observations. So scene 1, night at the court. That's the basketball court video. You're going to watch that, and then you're going to type in your weather observations. What do you notice happened in that first video? Okay, so you simply click and watch for 12 seconds. Rewatch as many times as you need to, and you're typing in your weather observations. You're finished with that section, and now you're on the debriefing section. This allows you to look at some of these questions. There are pull down menus as well. You can click on the pictures, they'll give you some answers. Okay, and you can explore all of these different areas. Which scene shows hot weather? Which one shows the windy weather? The humid weather? So you're going to type in your responses in those green boxes. This is the wrap up section. What is weather? Click over here on Science Concepts, and it has a whole bunch of material for you to read, and you can also listen to it. As you continue to scroll down, you are clicking how much you understand about things. You don't know anything? Well, you should know a little because we've just reviewed it with you. You've gone over it and through some lesson. You still are learning. Maybe you fully understand it, or maybe you consider yourself an expert in that area. So there's all these different areas we're going to kind of assess you on based on what you've learned and haven't learned, so we know what to go back and explore. And making sense of phenomena. Again, you're going to watch one little last 10-second video, and it gives you a few things to think about. When you finish that section, the investigative notebook, the investigations, you're going to do texts with notes. Now, this is where it can get a little tricky. All we're doing is the introduction and unit one, lesson one of our unit. Okay, we're only doing introduction and weather changes. That's where you are to stop for today. Okay, these areas up here, very similar to your NEWA testing. You have the ability to highlight, to take some notes and write anything additional if you so choose. It will also play, which means it's going to read to you if you're not comfortable reading yourself. But here's our science. What makes weather? Some science vocabulary. And pardon, if you click on the science vocabulary, it'll pull up definitions for you in our flashcard area. Flip the card over and it tells you the definition. Okay, so back to our text with notes. So you're reading, and to assess your understanding is interactive little clips here. What do you see in this image? And it's telling you what you see. What might you see under a storm cloud? Okay, so it's interactive. Then you click next section. You're going into section one of weather. Again, you can highlight, you can add notes, it can read to you. This is the last section of today. Weather changes. Lesson one, weather changes. This is all you're doing for the rest of the day. You can click on our terms and it'll give you the flashcards again. You want to make sure you're reading all captions. Captions are very important, especially in nonfiction stories and texts, so that we can learn a bit more of what the pictures are describing. And then here is checking for understanding. There are 5 of these. Follow these arrows up here. You're going to progress through 5 different questions talking about weather. You can check your answers and then you can reset and do it again. And continuing down, suppose you're an astronaut on the International Space Station. Your job is to take photographs of the Earth. You can always click here for it to read it to you. To do this, you use a camera on a robotic arm. So here you're going to use terms Earth, atmosphere, thin air, and predict. And you're going to write about what you see. So if you scroll down, here's your arrow, your little green box. You're going to type in here and it's going to enlarge as you write. That's where you're going to type in your lessons. You can always click on vocabulary cards if you'd like. Lesson games, we haven't gone through all of the lessons yet. So some of them may be a little tricky, but what is weather? You should be able to answer some of the questions on here based on what you've just learned about weather. You can kind of quiz yourself and play some games. All right, so that is introduction and lesson one on TCi. Remember to keep using this left-hand sidebar to help guide you through your program. Everything is listed under assignments, and then it's the work down here that you're going to start exploring. All right, have fun.